You did it. You studied late into the night. You passed your exam and earned that hard-won certification. So why are the job offers not rolling in? Why do hospitals keep passing you over? You're left wondering what went wrong. Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the 7 hidden barriers that are quietly blocking most online graduates from landing their dream job in sterile processing.
And let's be clear, you really did put in the work. You finished that online course, you crammed for hours, and you earned that CRCST certification. So on paper, you've got the qualifications. The knowledge is definitely there. That frustration you're feeling, totally valid. This is the question, isn't it? The one that keeps so many talented, certified people stuck. You've got the certificate, so where's the job? It feels like you're missing a piece of the puzzle, something those online courses just didn't cover. And you know what? You're right. There is.
See, it's not just one thing. We've pinpointed 7 specific, kind of invisible reasons that create this huge gap between getting your certification and actually starting your career. They fall into a few key areas, and once you can see them, you can finally start to climb over them.
I want you to think of these, not as your personal failures, but as invisible barriers. They're like hurdles in the system that, honestly, hit online students the hardest. So let's break them down one by one, starting with what might just be the biggest one of all. All right, the first, and probably the most significant barrier, falls under this big umbrella, the experience gap. This is where all that online theory you learned slams right into the fast-paced, hands-on reality of a hospital's sterile processing department.
This comparison really says it all. Online courses, they're great at teaching you the what and the why. You know, the scientific principles, the names of all the instruments. But hospitals, they hire for the how and, more importantly, how fast. They need people who can jump in and do the job under pressure, right from day one.
And that's the core issue. Without that physical, hands-on practice, your resume just kind of screams theory. A hiring manager sees that, and it leads them to the next barrier. You're probably unfamiliar with the real equipment. They see a risk, a chance you won't know your way around their actual washers and sterilizers. And that hesitation leads to a third, really common problem.
It's what we call the certified but not ready trap. This is our third barrier. It means you've got the paper credential, but you're missing that practical muscle memory experience of the day-to-day workflow. Sure, you can pass a multiple-choice test, but can you survive a chaotic Tuesday afternoon when the OR is screaming for a tray? That's the real question employers are asking.
Now, this lack of experience creates another huge problem. Even if you have all the knowledge, you might be getting lost in the shuffle before anyone even gives you a chance. We call this the connection gap, and it's where we find our next 2 barriers.
Barrier number 4 is a big one. You're missing out on clinical connections. Think about it. In-person programs often have clinical rotations built right in. Their instructors have networks, they know people, they can make referrals. As an online student, you're often on your own. Without someone to vouch for you, your application is just another piece of paper in a giant stack.
And on top of that, your resume might be getting tossed out by software before a real person even lays eyes on it. This is the 5th barrier. These automated systems are programmed to scan for specific keywords. So if your resume just says online coursework, but the computer is looking for phrases like decontamination processes or instrument identification, well, you basically become invisible.
But okay, let's say your resume makes it through. You actually land the interview. This is where the final, and often the most gut-wrenching set of barriers shows up, the interview gap.
Just imagine this for a second. The hiring manager leans in and asks, "So, walk me through how you'd handle a failed Bowie Dick test." You know the textbook answer, of course, but you've never actually done it. That little hesitation, that moment where you freeze up, that's our 6th barrier. It signals a lack of real-world confidence, and it creates serious doubt.
Struggling to explain those real-world workflows is a huge hurdle in an interview, but it's not the only thing. The 7th and final barrier is just the brutal reality of the competition. A lot of these entry-level spots go to people who already have a foot in the door at the hospital, maybe they were a transporter, or to grads from programs that had those in-person clinical hours. They just have an inside track. Now, I know hearing all of this can feel pretty discouraging, but the point isn't to discourage you, it's to empower you. By making these invisible barriers visible, you can finally start to build a bridge right over them.
And this is the key thing to remember. Your online education is valuable. It is a strong, necessary foundation. But you have to see it as the first step, not the final one. It doesn't build the entire bridge to your first job. You've got to add the next few pieces yourself.
So, here's your path forward. These are the pieces of that bridge. First, you've got to find a way to get targeted, hands-on practice. Second, you need to optimize your resume with those specific SPD keywords. Third, you have to practice answering those workflow questions until they're second nature. And fourth, start building real clinical connections.
And the best news of all is that none of this is impossible, not at all. These barriers are known, which means they can absolutely be overcome. Solutions are out there, things like mentorship, externship guidance, and coaching programs designed specifically to take online grads from being just knowledgeable to being truly job-ready.
So it all comes down to a shift in your mindset. Your goal was never just to get certified, it was to get a job, to start a career. That certification is a powerful tool, but it's not the destination. The real goal is to get prepared, to build that bridge, and to walk into that interview with not just knowledge, but with genuine confidence. So don't just get certified, get prepared to get hired.